President Obama said that after years of darkness in Myanmar, finally they were seeing some flickers of progress. He said the reforms that he's seen in recent weeks are significant, and the very surprising news that Secretary of State Clinton will be going to Myanmar next month. Now, this did take some people by surprise. We did know that there was talk of Myanmar becoming the ASEAN chair in 2014. That had been confirmed, and everybody was waiting to see what the US reaction would be. This is a step further than many people were expecting. Mr. Obama, though, did say that there is a lot more to be done.
President Obama making it very clear that this does not mean that there will be an end to US and international sanctions. And for more on this background, I spoke a short time ago to our senior State Department producer, Elise Labbott, and I simply asked her, why now?
This is really the fruits of the Obama administration's policy on Myanmar, which it outlined in 2009. It was kind of focused on this carrot and stick approach to get the military rulers at the time to improve the human rights conditions there. And it imposed new sanctions, but said it was open to better relations if the situation changed. And since the civilian government took on in March, U.S. officials have been engaging the government. The U.S. envoy to Burma, Derek Mitchell, has been there several times in the past few months. And it seems as if Burma's rulers have taken some steps to really open up the country. And U.S. officials say there are things really happening in Myanmar. Aung San Suu Kyi, under house arrest for many years, was freed recently, hundreds of other political prisoners, and they say a lot more needs to be done, but they want to continue to engage to encourage that, and that's what Secretary Clinton is going to be doing there.
And we know that President Obama had a telephone call with Aung San Suu Kyi. Do we know if she signed off on this, or that he was just informing her that this was going to happen?
Well, it sounds like he wanted some assurances that this would be helpful, and basically Aung San Suu Kyi has been encouraging dialogue with the regime. She says anybody who says that change isn't taking place in Myanmar hasn't been to Myanmar, and she says that these signs, these signals that the regime is willing to open really have to be tested. And so I don't know what happened during the phone call, but it seems as if Aung San Suu Kyi has signed off on the administration taking these moves to engage the regime. She's met with many officials while they were there, and she says, yes, we need to be cautious, and we don't have to have rose-colored glasses when it comes to the regime, but we do need to engage.
And Paula, you did mention that President Obama had talked about the flickers of change. Specifically, what are they pointing to as an example that this regime, a serial human rights abuser in the past, is now actually changing its ways?
Well, what we heard, John, from Mr. Obama was the reference to political prisoners, the fact that there have been some political prisoners released. About 200 were released just recently, but Amnesty International said there's still about 2,000 political prisoners or prisoners of conscience still behind bars. And this is the crucial fact. Some human rights groups are saying it is too soon. It's premature to be rewarding Myanmar in this particular way. Now, we were all waiting to see what the US response was. They went further than many people were expecting. But human rights groups are saying that they should have waited longer to see what further reforms could be done. Now, we spoke to the Indonesian foreign minister, and he was behind this effort to re-engage Myanmar, and he said that the reason they decided to give it the chairmanship of ASEAN in 2014 was because it was an encouragement and it was an incentive for Myanmar to reform further. Now, clearly, this is the way that the United States is thinking as well, that engagement is really the way to go forward, and Mr. Obama called it a historic opportunity for progress.